Well, let's just talk about the possibility of a deal at this stage then, Jonathan. As you read the tea leaves at this stage, do you think actually there are enough other issues now on the table, like the pandemic and the issues of unemployment and the long tail that we may have from this crisis, that will focus negotiators' minds ultimately, and we will get some form of partial agreement, at least by the deadline at the end of the year?
I think it is genuinely a toss-up at the moment. The outlines of a possible deal have been clear for some time. They involve both sides making politically painful on concessions on fisheries. It involves the UK accepting some degree of discipline over state aids and other level playing field issues, and so on. So we know what the outline of a possible deal looks like. The question is whether either side feels it has the political space to make the necessary compromises and concessions, and also, and in particular, given that the UK is clearly the weaker negotiating partner here, it's really the ball is in the UK's court as far as the EU is concerned. They're not sufficiently worried about the consequences of a no deal to make those concessions first. They're waiting up for us to make clear that we are prepared to make some pretty significant concessions on both fisheries and on the issue of state aids. Now, I think it is possible the UK will do that, but it is, as I say, far from certain. And at the moment, it looks like at best a toss-up.
Can I ask you about the role of the city at this stage then, and where you see that going in the course of some agreement? Because there's been a lot of toing and froing as to whether Paris was being established as a rival financial hub, or would it be Frankfurt, and so on and so on. And yet we know at this point, with the transmission mechanism through the banking system working so poorly across Europe at this stage, the liquidity that London provides is still important for corporate funding in the rest of continental Europe. Will at some point sensible heads prevail and come up with all the appropriate passporting deals that need to be done? Or is this going to be a problem running into next year?
No, deal or no deal, there's not going to be any passporting arrangements. What will happen is that the EU will unilaterally, through equivalence or some other mechanism, ensure that continental Europe does continue to have access to the City of London and to that funding. But it will get gradually over time, not on December 31st, but over time, it will become slightly more and more difficult, and it will be more and more important for firms to shift at least some of their operations to the continent. So I think, the European strategy on this has been reasonably clear for some time. It's not a sudden big bang. It's boil the frog slowly, with the objective over time of relocating a significant proportion of activity from London to the continent. Some of that has already happened. More and more will happen, but it will be over time, and it won't be a big bang. And in the meantime, the EU will, not through this deal, but unilaterally, ensure that that there isn't some sort of big choke point on December the 31st.